When they get into the community, the number one thing is first they study the community and then get a legitimate business that fits in that community. And then they start the business and then use the business to develop relationship or, to develop rapport as an access to the community. And then they develop business partnerships with the locals. And you can start your own small business without being charged any commission or getting aid from them. And then eventually you have to be a Muslim to receive that. And in cases of Africa where many people are poor and they don't have anything, you get free help, you get free business to start, but you have to be a Muslim. So many people have been used. They have used those strategies to sometimes convert the whole community, the whole village.
Can you make some comments on what you've observed amongst Christians and their attitude towards business in Africa?
Maybe 1,000 years ago, the priests decided to pray, to commit themselves to pray and to read the word and keep themselves purity from the world, because they say the business world corrupts. So having that kind of mentality, they decided to separate themselves from the whatever they call a corrupt world and resort to prayers and reading and meditations and those things. So evangelicals picked up those kind of teachings, and so many of them, when they become a Christian, they quit their job because they said we want to serve the Lord, and they don't want to work. I mean, I can see, I could see so many evangelists or pastors not working, just carrying their Bibles around and kind of preaching and teaching. But you see, many of them are, as a result of that, are poor today. They cannot even provide for their own families, and the church in Ethiopia or in Africa is so poor that they cannot even provide for their needs. It's not only that. If somebody is called a minister, then he also thinks that you are a minister, so you should not be working. So that's also a challenge.
Unlike Plato, the ancient Hebrews did not seek escape from the present physical world. They did not devalue the physical world, nor did they dishonor physical labor. The Greek philosophers, on the other hand, degraded manual labor and looked down upon those who performed it, while honoring artists, educators, and other thinkers. Ancient Hebrews actually valued labor and did not see it as beneath their dignity at all. As a matter of fact, it was expected that the rabbis in Jesus' day would know not only Torah, the law, but would be apt at a physical trade. The famous Rabbi Hillel was a woodcutter, and the equally famous Rabbi Shammai was a carpenter. Paul, of course, was a tent maker, and Jesus himself was a carpenter. No, the Hebrews were not ashamed of physical labor. Quite the opposite. It was considered a shame for a Jewish father to not teach his son to work with his hands. The Jewish Talmud says, "Just as a man is required to teach his son Torah, so is he required to teach him a trade." It was felt that whoever did not teach his son the law and a trade would bring him up to be a fool and a thief. Physical labor in itself was not a curse brought on by sin. God instructed Adam to dress and keep the garden prior to the fall. The entrance of sin into the world made man's work more difficult, but physical labor itself was a good thing. It is interesting to note that the Hebrew word for work and worship are one and the same, avodah.